What's going on, guys? Glenn with Glenn's Auto Performance here. I'm going to be installing a Radium dual catch can system on my Z06 today, and I thought I'd show you guys what that looks like and why I chose to go Radium. If you haven't checked out Radium yet, they make some pretty sick stuff, do some really high quality parts. So let's go ahead and get this unboxed, show you what we're working with, and we'll jump into it. So partway through unboxing this, I thought, man, I got to show you guys how nice this is packaged. So Radium does a great job wrapping everything nice and tight. Everything's individually bagged, super high quality packaging. So I'll go ahead and finish getting this unwrapped and I'll show you our components. All right, I've got it all unboxed here. I'll show you what we've got. Man, this stuff's nice. So we've got both catch cans. Again, I'm putting their dual catch can system on my car. They offer this as clean side separator only, PCV, dirty side catch can only, or the dual can system, which is what I'm running here. So you got the cans, stainless hardware for the cans, the mounting brackets, all bent, cut, countersunk, powder coated. Oil fill cap for the clean side separator to convert it to AN. It's got some coalescing media in there, which you also see on the inlets of the catch cans as well. You've got their PCV rated fuel hose here, branded Radium. All their OEM spring lock clamps, mounting hardware for the brackets, all of the push connect, emission style connectors for the hose to go to your OE fittings on the engine, all the AN conversions and banjo style fittings for the top of the can. Even got your fittings labeled for routing, to crankcase to manifold. Really nice system here. So I'm looking forward to getting it put in. So figured it'd be a good opportunity to take a minute and tell you why I chose to go Radium. I ran Mighty Mouse on my last car and I love their system. They make an excellent catch can system, but I wanted to try something a little bit different on this car. And Radium has always impressed me with their level of engineering and the thought that goes behind their product development design. So I wanted to give them a shot on the new Z06, and there's a two-part reason to that. One, they offer a dual catch can system, which isn't necessarily needed in most cases, but there are a few instances where you could benefit by having a secondary can on the clean side. Obviously, forced induction applications can generate positive crankcase pressure, in which case sometimes oil vapors can escape the clean side during positive crankcase conditions. And another situation that can occur is just prolonged high RPM use if you're doing a lot of track time. Low vacuum environment, transient throttle conditions can sometimes create a little bit of positive crankcase pressure that'll purge out the clean side. So really not needed, kind of redundant on most applications, but a nice feature to have if you just want to eliminate as much of the oil vapor entering the engine and the intake tract as you can. Now, another reason that I chose to go with Radium over Mighty Mouse is a lot of sanctioning bodies for different racing events. Some of them will require that your catch can is a closed system, that it doesn't utilize an open breather element like the Mighty Mouse does on top. And Mighty Mouse just recently released their recirculating top that you can plumb into the intake tract, but there isn't like a plug and play solution for that. You have to get a little bit creative in where you pipe the recirculating portion of that plumbing into the airbox or the intake tract. So I decided to give Radium a shot. I've worked with their products for a little while and I'm looking forward to getting this kit installed. So here's a look inside their can and some of the features I like about it. So it's got multiple forms of coalescing, and what that does is it pulls suspended oil vapors out and of the air and allows them to settle out into your catch can. So a lot of cans will have this like mesh media. That's pretty common. Looks like Radium uses a screed here as well as a little ball to help collect some of that vapor. And there's multi-stages inside of here that you can't see to help with that process as well. One of the cool features, you can see this stick sticking out here. That's an actual dipstick, so you can unscrew that from the top and pull it out and check your can level without actually having to pull the can apart to check it. Other solutions that some other companies implement are sight windows, which those work fine as well, but it's nice to be able to see exactly how much you've got in your can without breaking anything down. So you just spin that little dipstick out, take a look at it, and it'll let you know how much fluid's in your can and whether you need to get it dropped. All right, first step is going to be pulling this passenger side fuel rail cover. That'll give us access so that we can get the Radium catch can routing set up underneath that cover. So let's get that off. All right, that's out of the way now. The Radium components are going to be replacing two things here. One's going to be this oil cap, or I should say faux oil cap on the dry sump engines. There's going to be a Radium setup that drops in place of that. That is now going to be the PCV dirty side feed. So we'll get that pre-assembled, get that dropped in. And then the can routing is going to take the place of this original line here, which ran from the valley cover dirty side port up to the intake manifold. So we've got to get that out of the way. We're going to cap the valley cover, and then we'll get the can mounted and everything plumbed in. All right, for the next step, we've got a little bit of pre-assembly to do on the bench. So the oil fill adapter here, we're going to put this banjo fitting into that, and then the fitting that is labeled with the laser etching for routing, that's going to go in the side of one of the cans here. So we'll get those put together and they'll be ready to go on. Just going to make a quick little note about a snag I ran into. So trying to put the Radium oil fill adapter, and it was really tight. It just was feeling like I had to force it. I don't know if you can see, there's a little casting ridge inside that cover. And I'm sure there's probably some variation from valve cover to valve cover. So in order to get mine to fit nicely, I did skim a little bit of material off all the way around. Not much, it's like 10 thousandths, basically just the coating, so that it would slip in there a little bit nicer. And that way, you know, it was a better fit for me, so I didn't feel like I had to force it. All right, got the oil fill adapter on there. I went ahead and put a vacuum cap on it just temporarily, and this is a swivel, so you can get that out of your way. We're gonna be working here next. So put a cap on that, swiveled it out of the way. I got the PCV tube hose off of the original valley cover port and intake manifold port. That just slid right off. We're gonna cap the valley cover. That's the silver one there that I have centered in the screen. And then the Radium can is gonna plumb into the one above it, which is your intake manifold port. So we're gonna get that set up next. We do have to move this line or temporarily disconnect this line because of how the bracket mounts. That's gonna go through the new Radium catch can bracket, so we'll get that out of the way and get the bracket mounted, the valley cover capped, and then we'll start plumbing the can in. All right, I'm gonna show you what I mean here. So this is your new catch can bracket. It's gonna bolt to the front of the passenger side cylinder head, and then that cutout that you see in the upper left is where that evap solenoid hose is going to route through. So you just got to pull that loose so that you can route it through there, and it's pretty easy. This little white trigger or catch just gets depressed, and then you can walk that right off of there. All right, this little wiring retainer goes into the same bolt hole as the catch can mounting bracket's going to go into. So I went ahead and popped that loose to get it out of the way, and I'm going to try to move it to this one right here on the other side of it. I'm not going to snap it in there until we've got the can bracket in place so that it's not in the way of me tightening that bolt, but I'm hoping I can clip it in there. That way it's just simple relocation. All right, got that bracket mounted up and the bolt snugged up with a 15mm socket and a 15mm wrench. Got the evap reconnected, and then that wiring harness clip, I was able to snap that right into that port, or that bolt hole rather, that was right next to the original, so that worked out great. So we're gonna go ahead and get the can mounted. I'm actually gonna put a little piece of rubber hose on the edge of this bracket. The evap line wants to lay against that, and I just don't wanna have to worry about it wearing or rattling at all. So I'm just gonna put a piece of rubber hose on there again, overkill, but try to do everything 100%. All right, I've got the can mounted. Put each of the little countersunk screws in. Those take a 3mm Allen, put a little spot of blue Loctite on them so they don't rattle loose. Now we're gonna go ahead and put our adapter fitting on the top side here. Get that adapted to quick connect. And these are ORB fittings. They've got a little O-ring. They don't need to be cranked down, just enough to seal them. I don't even put a wrench on them, just do them by hand. So we'll go ahead and get our line made up and we'll start making our connections. All right, so I made up my two lines for the dry sump engines. One of them goes to 6.5 inches of hose, The other one's 9 3/4 inches of hose. The longer one gets a 90 degree on one end and a 45 degree on the other, with your little spring lock clamps to hold everything in place. The shorter hose, the 6.5, gets a straight on one side, which will go to the can, and then just gets the clamp with no fitting on the other side, because that's going to go on your intake manifold port that is left open from removal of that hose earlier in this process. Now, if you got a wet sump engine, these lines are made differently, so just refer to your instructions for how to set them up if you are wet sump. But on the dry sump LS3 and the LS7, these are how they're put together. So let's get them put on. All right, I've got my lines installed. On the dry sump applications, this banjo fitting has to be oriented downwards, and the 45 degree end is what connects to that. You want everything facing down so that you can clear your fuel rail cover when you put it back on. 90 degree end goes into the top of the can. Straight side, quick connect of course, goes on the radium can, and then it routes to the intake manifold port. And it can be a little tricky getting that spring lock clamp slid down in there. It's a pretty tight spot, but I was able to use a pair of needle nose and a flathead screwdriver kind of from the other side to guide it, and I got that pushed down in place and all secure. So we're gonna go ahead and get the fuel rail cover back on, make sure that fits, and we should be done with the dirty side install. All right, all back together. Everything fit perfect. Engine cover snapped down, no problem. Clearances are great. Everything fits real tight and nice. No interference. So we're all done with this side. We're gonna go ahead and move on to the clean side. But I wanted to show you guys that dipstick feature that I referenced earlier in the video. I think this is a pretty cool aspect. Makes checking the can easy. You pull that out just like an engine oil dipstick, and you can see how much fluid you've got in the can, so you know if you need to empty it or not. And then when it comes time to empty the can, you can just spin it, the bottom portion of the can, off of the top portion and dump it out. A little tight down there, but there's enough room to get it spun loose so that you can empty it. All right, moving on to the clean side. The clean side separator bracket mounts behind the passenger side hood latch. So what I've done here is I've just used some masking tape to kind of mark and outline how that hood latch is aligned, because it does have some adjustment. You don't want to lose your alignment for shutting the hood. So we got that marked out so that when I put this bracket on, we can realign everything the same way that it came off. And that's held on with 3 10mm headed M6 screws. So we'll pull those loose and get this bracket on. All right, I've got that bracket installed. The alignment of the hood latch is a little bit difficult because the bracket here shields the rear portion, so it's tough to make the alignment with the latch because you can no longer see exactly how it hits the tape. But there were some witness marks on the latch from the original bolt being tightened down. I kind of use those as a guide to set the rear. And then the front, although it's off of the inner fender a little bit now, you can still sort of use your tape lines as guidelines for that. So that was a little bit easier to align on the front side, and between them both you can get it pretty close. Now before I went any further in getting the can in the way of being able to make any adjustments on those bolts, I went ahead and shut the hood and opened it, made sure that it aligned well, that it didn't hook up when it was trying to open and didn't have any resistance trying to shut. Everything's good to go there. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the next step, and we will get the catch can prepped with the fittings that need to go on it, and we'll get it installed. Your clean side can is going to get the banjo fittings in both the side and the top port, but before you install it in the bracket, you want to put the one on the side, but not the one on the top. That goes in after. So I'm going to go ahead and get that installed now, and then we'll work on getting this can mounted in the bracket. Radium does note in their instructions that clearance to this battery cable can be pretty tight with the can in some instances. I did experience that with mine. It was sort of in the way, so what I chose to do to improve some clearance is just loosen the nut that retains it to the fuse box, and there was a little tab sticking up like this one on this side. I just skimmed that off flush so that I could shift this wire over slightly. It still clears the fuse box cover, no problem, but that kind of holds that wire up against the hood latch a little bit tighter and keeps everything snug and secure, so you're not straining it by trying to get the can in the bracket. So after doing that and tucking some of my wires a little bit tighter underneath here, the can fits in there relatively well, so we'll go ahead and get it bolted up. All right, I've got that can mounted and the top banjo fitting installed. So again, 3mm Allen headed screws here, little dot of blue Loctite. Got that snugged up. Next step is going to be, I got to pull the fuel rail cover back off for the dry sump routing. But we're gonna be replacing this clean side hose here. It runs underneath this cover, back around to your dry sump oil reservoir. We're gonna remove that, it doesn't get reused, and then we're gonna plumb the radium can in. So the lower port on the radium can will go up and connect to your intake track, and then the top port on the radium can will come back here and connect to the same side on the dry sump oil reservoir as the hose that we removed went to originally. So let's get that off now. So this quick connect fitting is a little bit different than the one that you saw earlier in the video on the purge solenoid, but it's still pretty simple. There's a little tab here, if you can see that sticking up. That just gets pulled rearwards. See me lifting that right there? That unclips it from the spot that holds it on, and then you can snap it off, just like that. The other end has the same style fitting on it, so we'll go ahead and pop that loose and get it out of the way. All right, here's that hose assembly removed. Again, this doesn't get reused, it's gonna be replaced with radium routing. So we're gonna go ahead and get those lines cut now, the fittings installed in them, and then we'll get this finished up. Just another quick little tip here. It was giving me trouble trying to snap the quick connect onto this factory fitting because the bellow on the factory air intake kept collapsing on me before the quick connect would actually snap in place. So easy way to overcome that. This is just a barb style fitting, so you can pull it right out like that. And then you can put it in your quick connect first, and then you can slide it right into your bellow after the fact. All right, got all my connections made. We're all finished up. I didn't really like how Radium wanted you to route this line. They wanted you to come kind of behind the throttle body and down here. And I just felt like everything looked kind of tight that way, so I chose to route it a different way. I had enough hose in their kit to do so. So I brought it forward, zip tied it to one of the radiator overflow reservoir hoses there, and routed it real nice and even along the fender, and then back to the clean side separator cam. And then this is a short little line, so that one's pretty easy to make up. 245-degree fittings there, and then you just cut a section of line that fits nice. Make your connection to your dry sump oil reservoir where the original line hooked up, and you are all done. So we'll put some miles on it, check the catch cans, see how it turns out. But if you guys are interested in this kit, we've got it available online. I've got that linked below. Happy to help. We're a Radium dealer, so I'm happy to be able to supply those parts for you and be able to show you how they install here on this particular application. And if I can help you with anything else, just give me a shout.